I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue.
Welcome to Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, powered by Jack's Angels, where we talk about your experiences, advocacy news, research, and today's heroes for kids. We are here to bring hope to the unthinkable but real experience of a child diagnosed with cancer. Jack's Angels' advocacy mission is to provide a voice for children with cancer to effect change for a more hopeful future for those to come. Childhood Cancer Talk Radio starts right now. Here is your host, Janet Demeter.
Welcome to Childhood Cancer Talk Radio on TogiNet.com, where kids come first for the cure. I'm Janet Demeter, your host, and I'd like to welcome you to this next series of shows which are devoted exclusively to families of children with cancer, of course, including the amazing fighters themselves, to talk about their unique experiences, their hope for the future, and also about the things that they would like to see change for those to come in the medical treatment system. When given the opportunity, children are often their own best advocates. And here at Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, we delight in the opportunity to amplify their voices. For us, Brain Cancer Awareness Month never really ends, as brain tumors comprise about 25% pediatric cancer incidence, barely coming in second to leukemia, and yet are the leading cause of death in children with cancer. And unfortunately, they also represent one of the least funded areas of cancer research. If you've never listened to our show before, we're concerned primarily with public awareness regarding the lack of research activity and funding for our children with cancer, especially when it comes to our tax dollars allotted for cancer research with the National Cancer Institute. With certain regularity, 4% at most of the NCI research budget benefits pediatric cancer research when cancer is a leading disease cause of death in children in the United States. This absolutely must change. For some pediatric brain tumors, like DIPG, for example, there's been a 0% survival rate for decades and little research, despite the large percentage of pediatric cancer deaths for which it's responsible each year. The neglect of pediatric research can no longer be overlooked with this new and growing awareness. At least that is our greatest hope. Childhood Cancer Talk Radio attempts to provide also a sense of community, understanding, awareness, and resources for those in and out of our immediate community. You can write to us at cctalkradio@gmail.com to be on the show, suggest a guest, or submit important research or resource information for our listeners. Our star guest today is Morgan Platt, 12 years old and 5-year survivor of glioblastoma multiforme, one of the more common brain tumors, especially challenging to treat. Indeed, Morgan has survived longer than most and shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Joining us also is her mom, Kathy, and her brother, Kyle, 8 years old. How wonderful it is to have a sibling of an affected child join us. The challenges they face are as difficult as it gets for a kid, and we're grateful to Kyle for joining us in our conversation today. Morgan, in true star fashion, just met with the fight song lady herself, Rachel Platten, after hosting the incredible fundraising event benefiting Tyler Robinson Foundation and New England chapter of the Sunshine Kids. Morgan, welcome to our show today. Are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Morgan. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Of course. No, we're honored to have you on. And so I hear that you go to school regularly, like every day, even though you're still undergoing treatment, right? Undergoing treatment?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, Morgan, what grade are you in at school?
I'm looking forward to 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah. Looking forward. They get to walk to the donut shop and the pizza shop at the end of the middle school. So that's what we have one more week left, and then she'll head that way. So
all the good stuff.
Having
so
us on to the
Kathy,
dinner.
So I just want to introduce you too, Kathy. This is Mom, Kathy.
Yes, we're going to give you a real sense of community here because when you're in the battle, there's always something. There's never a dull moment, so to speak. So I know we had some challenges with connecting and I'm having some challenges with my voice, but we are excited to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here. And I mean, it sounded like from what I heard from you recently that, you just finished this amazing fundraising event and then you had some sort of power emergency and had fire trucks everywhere. It seems like there's never a dull moment, right? Tell us about what happened.
Tell us about the fundraiser.
Oh, yeah. So I started a fundraiser at my school, and so our goal is 909. And so every $1,000, kids got to buy a teacher, and so we raised over $13,000, and we gave half to Sunshine Kids and half to the Tyler Robinson Foundation.
That's amazing.
Both of those organizations are doing amazing things for kids and the families. What's nice about Tyler Robinson Foundation is that they immediately know how the families are impacted financially. Really. Was our greatest support from them. And then the Sunshine Kid Foundation understands kind of how to bring back some happiness to the family, because as I shared with you, the siblings are oftentimes left out, which is kind of one of my biggest things, I guess. When I come up to under the water to breathe, I often feel like the siblings are impacted just as much as the child fighter. And Sunshine Kid sends families to different events together, and like the circuit. We just went to the circus, and we went to the.
Oh, nice. Well, that's wonderful to hear. So you're in Avalon, Connecticut, correct?
We're in Avon, which is kind of the center of the state.
Gotcha. And so is Tyler Robinson Foundation, are they centered there? Are they national? I know their website is trf.org, but could you tell us a little bit more about Tyler Robinson?
Well, Tyler himself is a young man who was lost to cancer. And his family he was inspired by the band Imagine Dragons. And after his passing, the band connected with his family and formed this foundation to help families with the high costs of the expenses from battling the disease. And they are located actually out in Utah, but reach families all over the country. So
nice.
They reach far. And then the Sunshine Kids was founded out of Texas, but they have different chapters. And the chapter here was the New England chapter.
And how would I find them on the web, the Sunshine Kids? Do you know their address?
They're at sunshinekids.org.
Perfect. Sunshinekids.org. And that's primarily for siblings, addressing the needs of siblings, or all the kids?
It's actually the entire family. So they take the whole family to the events that they offer. So Kyle was going to tell you about the Monster Jam.
Well, you know what? Yes, who's there?
Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, I heard you just got back from school.
Yep.
And what grade are you in, Kyle?
Second.
Wow, fantastic.
He's a really good helper for his sister. He's always supporting her and taking care of her. Yes, Morgan says, even though they do fight sometimes.
Of course. Wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
You know, got to have a good old one every now and then.
Right. No, I didn't have siblings. Don't understand the whole dynamic. But they work very well together most of the time.
Of course, of course. So, you know, I just heard about TRF, and then I realized I have this little skinny bracelet on that says #SlayCancerWithDragons. I was at Cure Fest last year, and I was right next to the Dragon booth.
Yes, that's them. Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was Tyler Robinson. How fantastic is that? I'm over here on the West Coast, so of course I'm not, as familiar, but I just thought that was such a nice coincidence. I always wear it on my awareness runs.
It is. Well, they've done, they were just doing a can, I forget what the title of the thing was, but they did a ride through California. It was through multiple states, a fundraising campaign. They went through multiple states, including California.
Nice.
Yes. So we were excited to do ours, though, and be able to get back here. It's one of the things that's kind of been driving Morgan is just I think she's defying the odds because of our positive environment around, all the people in our community who have been so supportive, and as well as just staying busy and trying to give back and help others. It kind of takes away from the time that you just sit around thinking, boy, I don't feel very well, and oh, what's this ache and what's this pain, and it's just nice to be with friends and having fun.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the power of community support and also the important role that she plays in giving hope to others. I mean, that's a huge responsibility, and she seems to be really thriving. And I can't applaud you enough, Morgan, for what you're doing for other kids.
Thank you.
Well, I think I shared with you before that she had a different friend get out of school. These are parents who let their kids get out of school, healthy kids, and come with Morgan to the hospital to see how her treatment is and how the other kids are impacted. So it really has been a community involvement and understanding, which has been amazing.
Well, that's amazing. What we're going to do is when we come back, we're going to take a short break. And I want our listeners to know you're listening to Morgan Platt and her mom, Kathy, her brother, Kyle, survivor of pediatric brain cancer. I'm Janet Demeter, your host on TogiNet.com. And Childhood Cancer Talk Radio is powered by Jack's Angels Foundation. We'll be right back after these messages from our TogiNet sponsors.
Stay tuned. Janet will be right back with more on Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, where kids come first for the cure.
Congratulations on being the proud owner of an adorable, soft, cuddly, sweet-smelling, smiling, cooing, hungry, tired, gassy, screaming little bundle of joy. So now what? Where's the owner's manual for this thing? Where are my instructions? Right here. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com. Infant care specialist Blythe Lipman has worked with babies for over 20 years and works extensively with new parents, providing workshops, in-home visits, tips, and daily phone calls to ease those frazzled nerves. With Baby and Toddler Instructions, you can get the advice you need on how to survive and enjoy your baby's first year. For more information on Blythe and how she can help you, go to babyinstructions.com. From 32 ways to stop a baby from crying to 14 ways to get a baby to eat and so much more. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet.com.
Secret Cuisines and Sacred Rituals is a quest, a place, and a feast. Join host Vilasi Venkatachalam every week to explore myths, mystique, old medicine, and brilliant modern solutions through a dazzling kaleidoscope of cuisines, cultures, and cures. This is the place where tribes gather, strangers and familiars, to be memory keepers and makers of our evolving, enduring, evergreen, spoken legacy of wisdom and ingenuity. In Velasi's words, when we do old things in new ways and new things in old ways, we paint with an inspired palette, weave our own healing traditions, and become our own guru. Vilasi is a troubadour of secret cuisines and sacred rituals. She collects stories of wisdom, ingenuity, and grit. She believes wellness and transformation happen when you stand at the threshold of delight and discovery. She displays her hidden penchant for drama when she leads the Safari at the Supper Club. Her favorite pastime is to extol the marvels of cuisines, cultures, and cures to her audience in workplaces, seminars, and salons. salons. Her mantra is, be your own guru. She is a biochemist, botanist, and alchemist who likes to churn delightful, useful things from a brew of art and science, ancient and evolving, old medicine and new cures. Join Velocity every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
You'll always have my shoulder when you cry.
Welcome back to more great conversation on Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, because every child's life deserves hope. Here's Janet.
And we're back again with Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, and I'm talking today. I have the privilege of speaking today with Morgan Platt, 12 years old and survivor, pediatric brain cancer, still undergoing treatment. And her mom's here, and her brother Kyle. We're so lucky to have them all with us today. And Morgan, before the break, we were talking about, or I was talking to your mom about how, you know, when you started from the beginning, really, of your treatment, you've always had a friend come with you from school. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've always had a friend come to treatment with me, and it's really nice and stuff. And then the one time I brought my friend, and they were taking my blood, and we asked the girl, "Oh, do you want to watch or do you want to go?" And so she said, "Oh, I'll watch and I'll help Morgan." Well, she actually passed out.
Oh, no. Oh.
Fine. All was good. She was in the best place she could be. We were in the hospital.
Right.
It was, you know,
I brought like every friend to treatment, and it had to be.
it had been for 3 years. We never thought about somebody seeing the sight of blood and having a problem. And here's this cute little one of Morgan's buddies, and then it made her faint. But it was all good. Everything was fine. But it was really an awakening for these kids, too, to see what some of the kids go through, and how they have to, you know, how they get their treatments. And okay, Morgan wants to tell you about another one of her friends that's been very helpful now.
Yeah, so today I was not feeling good at recess, so I went inside with my friend, and all of a sudden I was telling him, I have, like, these hand seizures, so they make me feel, like, weird in my hands and stuff. So he's like, he hasn't heard of that before and stuff. So he was, like, he was all white, and he looked like he was going to pass out.
Aww.
He helped me a lot. Yeah, and he's taking me to Justin Bieber in July.
Nice. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, it just shows, you know, what you go through regularly on a daily basis is some pretty tough stuff. And I can see where, you know, your one friend who passed out, just the environment of the hospital can be really shocking. And so, you know, if you already kind of know what it's about, you just never know what it's going to do to your own personal, like, nervous system. So stuff like that happens, but you're lucky that, you know, for the most part, your friends that have gone with you have been okay, right?
Yeah.
And they've really benefited from it. What were some of their reactions?
Yeah, they were happy to come with me, and we did some crafts there, and that was fun. So
Good. Nice.
And we brought a kit with me and the cures, and the doctors. I brought a kit of makeup, and we did the doctors their like cheeks and stuff. We put on powder and stuff. That was really, really funny.
Great. You know, Morgan.
Yeah.
So
our doctors are willing. Doctors and nurses are really willing to do whatever it takes to make the kids happy, and that was kind of we were so happy to be able to share that environment with the kids, so that interestingly enough, one of Morgan's friends that she's known since kindergarten was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer, 2 years ago. And she had come to treatment with Morgan before, and so had this familiarity with the hospital. Yep, she's done with chemo now. She's a year. Actually, last week was her year anniversary from being or 2 years from diagnosis. And yes, we have 7 kids in it's not a very big town. And
in town that have cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have 7 kids right now? There's 7 children with cancer?
Yeah. There were a lot of moms too.
We had moms with breast cancer, and then, but more so, and surprisingly, the children. We've got several different kinds, which is why they weren't commissioning a study, so to speak, I guess. But it seems to be something a little odd. Although, as you know, once you get into this new community, you find out about more, and unfortunately, we know way too now. There's too many kids out there with cancer. I mean, we have a lot now that we have met through our journey. We've gone to hole-in-the-wall game camp and met kids from all over New England.
Wow.
And different organizations. So now, we hear about more kids, and you're right, the funding just is not there, and it's so sad that they're not thinking. The kids are our future, and unfortunately, it seems like these are all the really good kids that are being diagnosed, and to not prioritize them. Although I will say our senator just supported some legislation for the increased funding to the NIH, so we're hopeful.
Well, Morgan, what do you think about it when they say it's rare? What does that make you think? Just curious.
Yeah, I know a lot of kids with cancer, which is sad.
Wow.
She doesn't think she doesn't so rare because now a lot of her friends are kids who have cancer.
Yeah. So what do you think of that being an excuse as to why, there isn't more research going on? There isn't one, is there?
It's both a difficult question because there's no excuse, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's I know most of the kids that don't have cancer that I tell about this in groups are just like, what? 4%? Yeah. What? It's rare. That's why. How is that a reason?
I think our community is pretty tuned in because of the increased numbers in our community, and I do think there is some outrage. And we're fortunate that we do have a children's hospital here locally, and they are getting new clinical trials in and things like that. So we're lucky in that sense. But I feel like they're close to some cures, but just need that extra push.
Yes, I agree. So I want to hear from Kyle. Have you been in the hospital many times with your sister when she gets a treatment?
Yes, I have.
And what's that like?
Happy that my sister is getting, it's kind of happy.
Well, you like it because you can play video games.
Of course.
Yes, that's why my daughter liked going to the hospital.
Yep, popcorn and video games. What's not to like?
But it is happy, right, when you know your sister's getting help.
Yeah.
And she's doing well. Yeah. The hospital's a good place.
Mm-hmm.
So you were really little then. You're such a big guy now. You were just a little guy when this all started. So pretty much, isn't it, you've been always knowing this, right? So you're an old hand at it. This is nothing new to you. You're an experienced guy.
Yeah.
He's working on a campaign. Oh, no, because it's changing.
Oh, yeah. So at our school, we are doing a thing called Children for Change, and
Nice.
it's where you make a creation and then you sell it, and you can choose to sell all of the money that you earned, or donate all the money, or you can keep all the money.
And what was your project?
Root beer float.
A root beer float.
Uh-huh.
That sounds delicious.
Popular booth.
I believe it.
And I'm going to donate all the money.
Yes. You're going to donate?
Yeah, all the teachers take a different chair.
You know,
I think it was... No, she didn't tell us.
But you're an active fundraiser. That's great for 8 years old. My gosh, you're leap years ahead of me.
we're all laughing here. It is, well, again, it's our school, I think. Our school is really good about giving back. And,
Nice.
even when Morgan was there, we had a group of young ladies who started at that time, duct tape was really popular, so they started a duct tape fundraiser. They made bow ties, and what else did they make? Purses, and...
Oh, I've had
Cool.
yeah.
Well,
and
we're going to take a little break, guys. And when we come back,
Okay.
I want you to tell me more about it, okay? You're listening to Childhood Cancer Talk Radio. We'll be back after these messages from our TogiNet sponsors. Don't go away.
Stay tuned. Janet will be right back with more on Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, where kids come first for the cure.
It's merging and reverse.
Do you ever get nervous riding in an elevator because you're afraid the cable might snap? It's entered my mind more than once. According to Elevator World magazine, on the rare occasion a cable breaks, the car won't plunge to the bottom. This is because elevators have as many as 10 cables holding them up, each capable of supporting a fully loaded car. Sometimes I feel a little mischievous in elevators. Next time you're feeling like a rapscallion, try one of these little jokes. When there's only one other person in the elevator, tap them on the shoulder and then pretend it wasn't you. Push one of the buttons and pretend it gave you a shock. Or maybe start a sing-along. What's a word for a person who thinks he's funny but no one else does? Witzelsucht.
It's merging and reverse.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
Secret Cuisines and Sacred Rituals is a quest, a place, and a feast. Join host Vilasi Venkatachalam every week to explore myths, mystique, old medicine, and brilliant modern solutions through a dazzling kaleidoscope of cuisines, cultures, and tourism. This is the place where tribes gather, strangers and familiars, to be memory keepers and makers of our evolving, enduring, evergreen, spoken legacy of wisdom and ingenuity. In Velasi's words, when we do old things in new ways and new things in old ways, we paint with an inspired palette, weave our own healing traditions, and become our own guru. Vilasi is a troubadour of secret cuisines and sacred rituals. She collects stories of wisdom, ingenuity, and grit. She believes wellness and transformation happen when you stand at the threshold of delight and discovery. She displays use her hidden penchant for drama when she leads the safari at the supper club. Her favorite pastime is to extol the marvels of cuisines, cultures, and cures. To her audience in workplaces, seminars, and salons, her mantra is, be your own guru. She is a biochemist, botanist, and alchemist who likes to churn delightful, useful things from a brew of art and science, ancient and evolving, old medicine, and new cures. Join Velocity every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
You'll always have my shoulder when you cry.
Welcome back to more great conversation on Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, because every child's life deserves hope. Here's Janet.
Hey, we're back again with Childhood Cancer Talk Radio. I'm Janet Demeter, your host, and this is TogiNet.com. Today, we're interviewing a wonderful family, the star of the family show being Morgan Platt, who is a survivor of Glioblastoma Multiforme now for just about 5 years. And I'm going to talk again with her. Her little brother has a wonderful project that he's doing at his school for Children for Change, and we're going to discuss that with him as soon as we get back from this bit of advocacy news and resources for you. A few months ago, being at the end of February, and this legislation stuff sometimes takes a little time to get around a corner, but Nancy Goodman with Kids versus Cancer, that's kidsvcancer.org, at the end of February spoke on a panel to the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs in support of several initiatives and acts needing important updates and reinstatements to help connect patients, especially children, to new and potentially life-saving treatments and for compassionate use. Compassionate use is a pathway for very sick patients to try new promising drugs that have not yet been approved. And the Kids v. Cancer Compassionate Use Navigator provides personal assistance and serves as a clearinghouse of up-to-date information on the compassionate use application process. Trying to jump through the bureaucratic hoops of compassionate care when your child has little time left is a terrible thing indeed. So the Navigator was created as a service for the pediatric oncology community, physicians, families, and advocates. And you can read resources on their site at kidsvcancer.org and request their help with the compassionate use application to drug companies, the FDA, and IRBs. The Navigator provides step-by-step instructions on how to apply, assistance in identifying expanded access policies and points of contact at drug companies, information on FDA procedures for obtaining compassionate use medications, and on the IRB approval process, forms and templates, and an option for physicians to request help from the Navigator staff in completing a compassionate use application, and also a registry of outcomes of compassionate use applications for children. Okay, so go to kidsvcancer.org for more information on these important legislative developments, which involve the reinstatement of the 21st Century Cures Act, amending the Pediatric Research Equity Act to take into account scientific developments with the Kids Innovative Drugs Initiative, which ensures opportunities for pediatric research and therapy development. Again, that's kidsvcancer.org. Also, a recent guest, CEO of the Children's Cause Cancer Advocacy, George Dahlman, encourages all listeners concerned with advocacy to visit Children's Cause for Cancer website at www.childrenscause.org. The Children's Cause leads in providing a voice in Congress, the administration, and government agencies for parents and advocates around the United States, and they encourage your participation in their activities. For information on the most important legislation for childhood cancer, including HRES 586 and the STAR Act in U.S. Congress today, and how you can help support, visit childrenscause.org. Vice President Biden has an interactive Facebook page for you to let him know what's on your mind about Moonshot. Visit facebook.com/Vice President Biden. And an important development with the Moonshot task task force is the Cancer Moonshot National and Regional Summits, all coinciding at various locations around the United States and, of course, with Vice President Biden in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, June 29th from 12 noon to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Please make a note of it and look on Facebook to find a regional event near you. These are public gatherings created for the purpose of bringing people together in the quest to accelerate our efforts in finding a cure for cancer. Our regional summit event, ours, I'm talking about mine, is in Los Angeles, California. Exact location to be disclosed on our Facebook page by Monday, June 6th. Get involved and tell your local officials what's most important to you in the quest for a cure. Folks, we're on the air because the childhood cancer advocacy movement needs your support. Childhood cancer, the leading cause of death in children in the United States, has been systematically neglected by the medical research system for decades. And our own National Cancer Institute, our tax dollars allotted for cancer research, giving a mere 4% of its budget to pediatric cancer research. The only way our laws change to accommodate public demand and public need is for that public to express this to their representatives. That's how representative democracy works. I'm sure you're all aware of that. But please put it to use. Why? Childhood cancer legislation has a history of disappearing. Please support the following two bills currently in the House. One is in the Senate as well. They're both important and they need votes. So encourage your representatives to sign. The first is doing pretty well. The STAR Act expands upon previous bills in a comprehensive manner. Previous bills, that is, that did not survive. The Childhood Cancer Survivorship Treatment, Access, and Research, STAR Act, would expand opportunities for childhood cancer research, improve efforts to identify and track cancer incidence for children, enhance the quality of life for childhood cancer survivors, and ensure publicly accessible expanded access policies that provide hope for patients who have run out of options. Okay? The most recent House resolution is HRES 586, and it needs support. Sometimes an awareness resolution is just the perfect way to start people talking about an important idea that has been neatly evaded or avoided entirely for a long time. Chad and Jack's DIPG resolution, named for Chad Carr of Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Jack Demeter of Santa Clarita, Santa Clarita, California, that is, calls for a national awareness week for DIPG and its thousands of departed heroes and brave kids currently fighting to stay alive, and more awareness for the neglect of pediatric cancer in our medical research system. Using diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG, as an example, we learned how the second most common pediatric brain tumor is responsible for the majority of brain tumor deaths in children each year, yet there's been no progress in its terminal prognosis in over 40 years, with an average of 20,000 years of life lost each year. HRES 586 does what none of the other bills for childhood cancer have done. It calls for more consideration of low survival rate cancers, meaning urgency, and years of life lost, our children, in the research grant process with the National Cancer Institute. Our biggest action days are here now. Visit hres586.com for simple, easy-to-follow instructions to help support this bill and the many children currently fighting for their lives on what is literally cancer's death row for kids. And from Michael Moser Defeat DIPG Foundation, we're delighted to announce that Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan issued a proclamation Tuesday, May 17th, 2016, just a couple weeks ago, as DIPG Awareness Day in that state, the state of Maryland. This historic step is an important measure to recognize and honor the many children lost by this devastating childhood brain cancer. We thank Governor Hogan for his leadership in establishing this Awareness Day in Maryland. We owe Michael Moser Defeat DIPG Foundation an enormous thank for its design of the easy-to-follow script, for calling in your support for HRES 586, National DIPG Awareness Resolution, to your representative's office. Again, the information is available to be shared with family and friends at hres586.com. And just for a bit of history on that bill, why is it so important? The first introduction of DIPG to the national stage, the one cancer no one wants to talk about, authored by Congressman Steve Knight of California's 25th District, co-sponsored by Jackie Spear of California, supported by Chairman McCall of Texas, and Van Holland of Maryland, was actually begun by California State Assemblyman Scott Wilk of their 38th District with ACR 151, designating the fourth week of May as DIPG Awareness Week in California 2014. Pennsylvania followed suit in 2015, and now we have this gubernatorial declaration and also a national awareness resolution on 2016. Thank you so much for listening to this. Please help HRES 586 get its votes in 2016. Why is DIPG so important? Its case demonstrates what happens to all childhood cancers. They're marginalized as rare, and don't receive the research funding they so desperately need. And DIPG just makes a very powerful example of this. It's responsible for 80% pediatric brain tumor deaths each year, the leading cause of death in children with cancer. Rare? Maybe. Irrelevant? We think not. No parent should hear that there are no solutions for their child because their lives are insignificant to research investors, but it happens all the time, and it needs to change. And children like Morgan Platt, our guest today. She is our star guest. She's 12 years old, and she is here with her mom, Kathy, and her 8-year-old brother, Kyle, a second grader. She's a survivor, fighting for her life with everything she's got, and she deserves more fight from our medical research system. Though we don't have a cure for glioblastoma multiforme, she is living with it and thriving. Morgan, we're all amazed by your story. Are you still there listening after my long and windy speech? Yes?
Yeah, hi, thank you.
Hi, Morgan. Well, I was amazed to hear about your local schools, especially your brother's school. Can you tell us with your brother a little bit more about what he's planning now for next Monday? Or Kyle can speak for himself, I'm sure. Children for Change, folks. This is what this 8-year-old is doing for his sister and other kids with cancer. I hear that Kyle is creating his own booth of his own theme, which is root beer floats, which I'm sure will be very popular. It sounds delicious. Kyle, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yay! I'm so glad to hear your voice. So tell us about your plans for your booth and what all you intend to do.
Well, I'm going to set up a table and scoop the ice cream.
Nice.
And I'm going to have to do 5 food, get one for free.
Oh, there you go. I have to charge it. What?
And I'm going to sell them for, it's a deal. 5 food, get one for free.
Nice. And so, tell us what your plans are at the end of the day when you're done, what you're going to do with what you create, what monies you bring in.
Well, my teacher is donating charity. Is donating money to charity.
Nice. Do you have a favorite one?
Well, we don't pick, the teachers do.
Oh, do you tell them what to do, though?
What? What'd you say?
We'll be right back, and we'll just devote the whole next segment to you. Okay?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Where kids come first for the cure.
Secret Cuisines and Sacred Rituals is a quest, a place, and a feast. Join host Vilasi Venkatachalam every week to explore myths, mystique, old medicine, and brilliant modern solutions through a dazzling kaleidoscope of cuisines, cultures, and cures. This is the place where tribes gather, strangers and familiars, to be memory keepers and makers of our evolving, enduring, evergreen, spoken legacy of wisdom and ingenuity. In Vilasi's words, when we do old things in new ways and new things in old ways, we paint with an inspired palette, weave our own healing traditions, and become our own guru. Vilasi is a troubadour of secret cuisines and sacred rituals. She collects stories of wisdom, ingenuity, and grit. She believes wellness and transformation happen when you stand at the threshold of delight and discovery. She displays her hidden penchant for drama when she leads the safari at the supper club. Her favorite pastime is to extol the marvels of cuisines, cultures, and cures. To her audience in workplaces, seminars, and salons, her mantra is, be your own guru. She is a biochemist, botanist, and alchemist who likes to churn delightful, useful things from a brew of art and science, ancient and evolving, old medicine and new cures. Join Velocity every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, only here on the Woohoo Radio Network.
Do you ever wonder if you're the only woman who runs errands in her yoga pants so it will look like she went to the gym? Or how about the only mom who feeds her kids raw cookie dough? Or are you the only one who cooks her family cold cereal for dinner? Do you need more laughter and less loudness? More self-love and less self-loathing? More joy and less judgment? You're not alone. Come to the living room, a place where we get comfy, candid, and confident together. Come seeking sanctuary and leave feeling renewed. We're saving a seat for you. Give yourself some living room today.
Welcome back to more great conversation on Childhood Cancer Talk Radio, because every child's life deserves hope. Here's Janet.
Hi, everyone. We're back with Childhood Cancer Talk Radio. I'm Janet Demeter, your host. You're listening to TogiNet.com, and the show is in part powered by Jack's Angels Foundation, found on the web at www.jacksangels.org. And I'm back here today with this wonderful family, Morgan Platt, who's 12, and she's surviving still 5 years out with Glioblastoma Multiforme. She's doing very well. She has her little brother with us, who's 8, and her mom, Kathy. We're all amazed by your story, and I was trying to get more details before the break about Kyle's, this is Morgan's brother, Kyle's wonderful project that he's doing for charity on Monday. Both children are actively involved with fundraising. Morgan just got done doing a big fundraiser, almost $14,000 or something, for two of her favorite charities. That's TRF.org, Tyler Robinson Foundation, and their local chapter of the Sunshine Kids. Both support organizations for children with cancer and their families, indispensable to those of us who know how challenging it is to go through this.
Well,
Kathy.
I think that's it, Janet. You know, I think before, when you don't have a child who's diagnosed, you have no idea. You don't really understand what it means to have a kid with cancer, and it's hard to even imagine. You know, they talked about children with peanut allergies, and I was like, oh, what's a peanut allergy? Well, now Kyle has anaphylactic nut allergies. So, you know, that's something we do now. But, and I also shared with you that I think people are brought together for different reasons, and we're so glad that we've been brought together with you, because, again, as a parent of a child with cancer, we want to feel like you've done, turned every stone and done everything you can for your kid. And there's so much out there, but it sounds like you actually have so much information, and we are excited to share it with our friends so that they have a place to go and a voice to be heard, maybe in a bigger voice, I think. And not just us talking to one person, but to rally together as a unified voice. And I think it's hard for people to understand, when you don't have a child with cancer, what the kids go through, the families go through, and why we're so passionate about more for our kids, because they're really our future, and we need to save their life.
They are, and being unified is really important. And because you single out a disease here and there doesn't, I don't think, in any way detract, until we're willing as a society to get specific and look at these worst, most difficult diseases that people are just expected to endure and perish to, like they're expendable, until we're willing to roll up our sleeves and take a direct look at those and actually be willing to hurt a little bit, because sometimes it does hurt to care, right? Until we're willing to do that, we're not going to cure cancer.
Right.
It's not a blanket statement. Cancer isn't this, there's so many different kinds, but until we're willing to take a look at those most elusive and aggressive varieties that we can't figure out, of course that's where the research is. Of course that's where the answers are going to go. But do we do that? No. And so it's important to all these things that these advocacy organizations are doing are amazing. Like Nancy Goodman at Kids versus Cancer, she's one of my heroes because she's tireless. She's been working on, the Hope. Oh gosh, just don't have it in front of me. But Creating Hope Act. It's been reinstated until the end of September or something like that, but it's not definite. So just these things that have created doorways through which, more research can happen are so important to support. That's why I mention them, because if people get involved and really say, you know what, that is important, and actually make a call or write a brief email, takes 2 minutes, that can make all the difference in the world.
Right.
Votes
and I think
make
as
a
a
difference.
parent, yes, but as the parent of the child who's currently going through that, it's hard to know what to do, and so it's helpful. Right. If I'm told this is what we can do with just an email, then that's so helpful, and then to be able to get that word out to others, I think is really exciting. So
definitely,
I'm thankful for your show. And
it's so overwhelming to be in the middle of it. I mean, that's what we're here for. I don't know all the answers. I just like to at least, try to provide a forum where you can talk about, what's going on with you, and people can relate to that. And then on the other hand, hopefully be able to provide some resources that if, we don't have the answer, someone that we're connected with might be able to help,
Right. Well, and I'm not sure that people can relate to it. My friends are always like, oh, how's Morgan doing? Well, do you really want to know that, we were up last night and she was going to throw up? And, it's been going on for 5 years. So do we want to bore people with, we feel so lucky, and we think if we live positively, we feel better. And so to talk about our downtimes isn't, I think it's very hard to relate. And then as the patient and the parent, it's hard to relay what you're actually going through. And especially in Morgan's case, you would look at her and think she's, perfectly healthy. But this is a kid who's had 30 doses of radiation, had 3 surgeries, been on continuous chemotherapy for nearly 5 years. And,
it's incredible. What a warrior.
Right, what it's to her body. But, that's right. She is a warrior. And it's certainly an inspiration to many here, and certainly to me. So,
huge. I can't thank you all enough. I mean, we still have some time here on our show, but it's so important that people see that this isn't some weird anomaly. This happens to people. What's unusual about Morgan is how her incredible positive nature and her ability to survive this particular tumor, which is really difficult. I mean, not a lot of people get to survive it, and she is, and it's amazing. It's hope for everyone, and also hope for research too.
Right. And I think that, again, unfortunately, not focusing on the pediatric side. There was a lot of talk about the 60-minute show recently with the glioblastoma, and there's now a cure. Well, what people don't understand is, no, she isn't qualified because she's not 18. And then pediatric cancer is different than adult cancer, and so it's not a cure for us. It's not even something, I don't know that hopefully maybe someday she would be eligible for something, but I think people don't understand that either.
No. And brain tumors are some of the most common pediatric cancers and some of the most deadly. And people don't realize, like even with my son who had DIPG, he went through this period after having some radiation treatment where his symptoms had cleared up a bit, which, they allow you, but he was going to die. And it's really hard. That's a really hard thing for anyone, to live with that threat, even if they don't die. Just to have that threat over your head is just Herculean strength to go day to day and still be as giving as you people are, and where so much of your life seems to be giving to others, and that's just one of the beautiful things about Morgan and your family.
Well, we've been the recipient as well, so of so many wonderful gifts, and that's the one thing. Morgan and I were talking before we came on, and I said, how do you feel about having cancer? And she wishes she didn't have to take this giant horse pill every night, is what she said. But,
of course.
People feel like that we've had so many blessings, and it's really opened our eyes to how important it is to really live life and to be kind and caring for all, because you never know what anybody's going through.
Right.
And so that's how we feel like we've been lucky to really have our eyes opened, whether we weren't all the time, but now we are all the time, and it's been kind of a blessing and a gift, but we wouldn't wish it on anybody at the same time.
And Morgan, I would love it if you would chime in and just, please, any last words, any message. I've got a minute here for you. I would if you have anything to say to your friends out there, to other kids who might be going through something similar, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you for having me. And
You're amazing.
Yeah, I hope that there is a cure for cancer. Well,
you know what? Your fight merits an enormous fight from our system, our lawmakers who can do something about this so that kids have more access to treatments and people speak up, right, for kids like Morgan, and say something. It just takes a minute to write an email to your representative or make a phone call. And by the way, your representatives want to hear from you, right? Our guys, they want to hear from us. Morgan,
I do. Locally here, I think our representatives are. If you reach out, I think they will respond.
Absolutely.
We just recently passed.
Kyle, Kathy, Morgan, I love you. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're open anytime in the future to having you back. Give us an update. Thank you so much for giving this gift and sharing your experience with all of us out here. I'm Janet Demeter for Childhood Cancer Talk Radio.
We hope you have found inspiration from today's show. For more about Janet Demeter and her mission, visit jacksangels.org. As founder and president, Janet strives to assure that children with cancer and their parents have a voice.